Hi, I'm Aaliyah Woods, co-founder of CommonWealth Urban Farms, and this is our Beginning Gardener video series designed to help you have a successful garden, even if you've never planted a seed in your life. Today's topic is starting head lettuce from seed. It's time to start right now, early August. But first let's talk about the garden as it stands. So we're into August now, August in Oklahoma, and it's hot. My first few years as a home gardener, I pretty much just gave up in July and August. It got so hot, those were really especially hot summers, and the plants were hot and tired, and I was hot and tired, and it was no fun to be in the garden. Since then I've gained a little more heat tolerance, but if you're feeling that way, don't worry. Every year I would think, gosh, I thought I wanted to be a gardener, but I guess I don't. And then September would come and it would cool down and I think, oh right, it was just July and August. Now I'm happy to be a gardener again. So hang in there. In August in Oklahoma, gardens usually suffer a bit. The hot weather is hard on most plants. A few like okra and sweet potatoes generally do fine, but tomatoes really don't like it when it's up in the upper 90s and into the hundreds. Also, the hotter it gets, the more you have to water, and I really see that when it gets up into the high 90s and on into the hundreds, the need for water increases greatly. And even with frequent watering, plants exhibit signs of stress. That's just the way it is. You can see our sun gold tomato is still producing, but it's just not looking quite as happy as it was a month ago. There's a lot of dead branches. These don't really hurt the plant, but they may hurt the gardener, how you feel. So if you have time and want to clip them off, that's always, it's a happier thing to look at a good looking plant than a plant with a lot of dead leaves on it. The peppers are doing well. Peppers are one of those more heat tolerant plants, so we've still got blossoms coming on them, and we've got shishito peppers coming along beautifully. Basil is another one of the more heat tolerant. So the purple basil looks beautiful. I need to clip back the seed heads, and the Genovese basil growing just fine. I let this dill stay here because I wanted to let it actually go to seed. So if you leave dill long enough, you get dill seed, and you can harvest that and either use it in the kitchen as dill seed or save it and plant it now or in September for fall dill plants. All right, now we're going to go plant some lettuce seed. We're going to start some lettuce seedlings today. So you can plant lettuce as transplants for head lettuce, or you can plant it, broadcast the seed in a prepared bed, and grow baby lettuce that you cut, let it regrow, cut and come again, multiple harvests. The reason that we're starting the seed as head lettuce today instead of going out in the rows and planting is because lettuce seed will germinate very poorly if the soil temperatures are above 80 or 85 degrees. What it really likes, when it germinates the best, is going to be soil temperatures of 60 to 75 degrees, which is kind of cool compared to what the temperatures are right now, air and soil temperatures both. So by starting it in pots, we can start it inside, where most of us have homes that are less than 80 or 85 degrees. So if we can keep the temperatures down to around 75 or lower, we'll get much, much better germination. We'll grow them in these pots for 3 or 4 weeks and then transplant them outside. So that means we'll be transplanting in early September. By that time, hopefully, things have started to cool down and the lettuce will be much happier. When it gets really hot, or if it doesn't have enough water, lettuce gets bitter. Sometimes it will even bolt or go to seed. So we want to transplant these seedlings after we've passed the hottest part of the summer and are going into the fall weather. It also makes a difference what kind of lettuce you plant. Some lettuces are more heat tolerant. Some lettuce seed is more tolerant of warm soil. So today we're going to plant 2 different kinds of lettuce. This one is called Four-Lynchless, which translates to something like speckled trout's back. It's a really pretty romaine, a green romaine with red speckles. A beautiful lettuce with good heat tolerance. This one is called Marvel of Four Seasons. Don't know how to pronounce the French. And this is a butterhead, also a green butterhead with a red blush. Just beautiful, very tasty, also with good heat tolerance. This one actually, as the name suggests, Marvel of Four Seasons, has both good heat and cold tolerance. So to plant the seed, we're just going to shake some out and sprinkle. I really don't want more than a couple seeds per cell, because we're aiming for just one transplant per cell. Now if we get good germination and more than one seed germinates, great, we can just snip one off. But we don't want to have 4 or 5 little plants competing all in one cell. I've already labeled the 6-packs with a name on one side, date on the other, today's date, the date that we're seeding. Some lettuce seed is brown and some is white or tan. And it sure is easier to see the light colored seed when you plant. Alright, now we're going to just barely cover it up. Lettuce seed needs light to germinate. So if we just barely cover the seed, there'll still be some light that comes through. And then next we'll bottom water. So I'll get a leak-proof tray or pie pan or something, fill it with water, and then place each of these in it and let it wick up the moisture. That way the entire 6-pack or pot will be moistened. I can take it inside to let it germinate, and it will stay moist that whole time. I won't have to keep watering it like I would if just the top layer was wet. So we'll transplant these in 3 or 4 weeks outside. Once your seeds germinate, once they sprout, be sure and take them out immediately and put them in the sun. Plants at the seedling stage have the highest need for light of their entire life cycle. However, because it's so hot and dry right now, you can't leave them out all day in the sun unattended without disastrous results. So be sure to make sure that they get watered throughout the day. If you're not going to be home, one way to do that is to have them in a tray of water so that they keep wicking up water from the bottom as needed and stay moist all day. Also, you don't want to leave them in the bright hot sun for 12 or 14 hours. Make sure they get a little bit of shade in the afternoon. You can also start seeds, succession plant head lettuce, so start another round of seeds in a few weeks, maybe in 3 or 4 weeks. Try it again in early September for a later in the fall harvest. If you're interested in learning more about growing lettuce, specifically growing lettuce in hot weather, I highly recommend this book, Sustainable Market Farming by Pam Dowling. She has a whole chapter on lettuce and has a lot of tips and tricks for growing in hot weather. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening.